Okay, now that all our fold lines and margins are set up, we have the fun part. And let's start with the back layout. So the first thing you have to do is make sure you look at your mock-up laid flat so you can build it correctly. So we're going to start from the left to the right. So on the left, we have a red panel with white type. So the first thing we have to do is actually make our red. So I'm going to go to the swatches panel and put that together. And that formula is actually, we're going to call it Broad Red because this is actually sampled from their red color. And the formula is 0.3, 99.29, 97.19, and 0.09. And that will give us our nice Broad Red. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rectangle frame tool and I'm going to make a nice big red box. It's going to go right to the fold line. Perfect. And I'm going to make that solid red, Broad Red. I can't really use this as a type box because these margins are so uneven. So I'm going to make a type box that's new on top of this and I'm going to set it right to the margins. Then I'm going to place my text, set it here on the side, and just kind of feed from this. So this first paragraph, I'm going to delete that. Make sure you delete it as you use the copy, otherwise it gets really confusing. I'm going to put that in here, and obviously this is way too small. And I want to make this Helvetica Neue Black Condensed. And then I'm going to use the Shift command to see how big I can get this. So I'm just going to keep clicking until I'm in the ballpark. Probably not quite 30, maybe 29. Oh, that looks pretty good. Now you can see that I've got some breaks here and here and here. Since this is just one paragraph of copy, the best thing to do here is just to hand break this so that it works out. So let's first see if we can, let's tighten up the tracking a little bit. This is 29 point type, so it's got a little bit of space in it. This is a condensed type, so we can't go quite as tight as we normally would, but I think we could go -10 and be okay. I'm going to fix some of these by doing a force break and not creating a new paragraph. So remember, Shift Return, break that one, and that looks probably about as good as we can get with large copy like this. So I'm going to highlight all this. I don't think I can get it any larger because I've got art going right to the edge. So if I try 30, I'm going to get bumped. I'm going to make this white. And then I'm going to add a little more lead and see if I can get this to come right down to the margin. So I'm just going to click up until it sits there. Looks like 37 totally does the trick. And that looks good. So that panel's done. Now, the back panel does not have a red background, but it does have text sitting in the same margin area. So I'm going to grab this. And for this one, we want the copy that's back here. So I'm going to make this wider so I can get all the copy in here. Quite a bit of copy. When you see that there's no plus sign at the bottom of your text box, you know you have all the copy. And I'm going to grab everything from museum hours down and put it into this box. So now I have to do some styling and some style sheets. I'm not going to make a style sheet with this big copy to the left because I'm not using that again. That's a one-time copy use, and I'm just going to leave it like that. But this copy I am. So the first thing I want to do is style these subheads. So these subheads, I'm going to do the same Helvetica Neue Black Condensed. And I want to make it our Broad Red. And definitely a little bigger than that. So we're going to go, let's try 25. And this automatic leading actually seems to work fine. At 25 point, I think we can just ignore the tracking and leave it like that. However, we do want a little space between that and the body copy. So let's open up the paragraph panel and put a little bit of space after. Try 0.1875 and see how that goes. So that is our subhead. So I need to define that as a style sheet. And I'm going to do accessibility and parking. Now let's style our body copy. So this body copy, I just want to use regular Helvetica. I don't want to use condensed on body copy. It's a little harder to read. So I'm going to highlight this and I want to make this just Helvetica bold. And normally I wouldn't use bold for body copy, but with Helvetica, it's not very severe. And also this is the style of their copy in all their brochures and their website. And this I'm going to make 12 standard size, but I'm going to give it a tiny bit more leading and see how it goes. And we might have to redefine this to get everything to fit, but this is where I'm going to start. And you can see that I've got two paragraphs here. If I go to show hidden characters, I've got a paragraph right there. So let's get rid of this one and this one. We don't want to use paragraphs for spacing. We just want to use it for breaking up copies. So this has got two paragraphs. So let's see how much space after we can get and still hold this together. So that looks pretty good, 0.125, and that is our body copy. So I'm going to add that one. And make sure when you do your style sheets, it should always be based on normal. You don't want to base this on your subhead or it's going to get it all intertwined and it's really easy to get tangled up. So that's our body copy. So now I just have to go here, body copy, body copy. And it looks like I have a little more room. Now these two chunks of copy are broken up nice, but this one down here needs to be broken up a little bit. So I need to read through the copy. Always read and make sure that it makes sense. So as I read through this, it looks like bike parking is kind of a different subject. So I'm going to return on that one. And then if I break the Broad does not provide validation, look at that. It comes right onto our margin. So we're in good shape with this middle back. Now on the front panel, couldn't be easier. All I've got to do is make a red box that goes from the fold line to the bleed. So I'm going to start right here. Same as our other panel, our Broad red. And if you want to, you can lock that one too, because there's no reason to move that. Now I want to write the Broad in huge type, but I want it to be on its side. Type it out, the Broad. Then I'm going to make it that same Helvetica Neue condensed black. Make it a little bigger. Make it white. Make the text box kind of fit it. And then if you just hover your cursor in the corner, you can see how you can turn it there. Hold the shift key so you get it perfectly at 90 degree angle. And then I'm going to set it right here at the top, and I'm just going to power scale this down to fit. So I'm going to hold the shift and command key before I click on the box, and then I'm just going to click on the box and drag it down. Oh, we still have our invisible. Let's get rid of those. And you can see there's still a little bit more room, and this 2 spaces. There we go. Now we should be able to get it bigger. So let me bring this right up to the text again, do my shift command, power scaling, and see how close we can get this. And we want to get it right on the money. So we're going to go just a touch up, and we still got a little room to go. I'm going to just affect the kerning a little bit. You can see the space in the T and H is a little more open than this space between the H and the E. So that's where you want to use kerning. So I'm just gonna finesse this, -20, and look at the rest of this and see if it's okay. There's a lot of room between the R and the O. Kern that a little tighter. The B and the R. When type is this big, you definitely need to get in there and do some kerning. Okay, looking good. Now let's size it out again, up to the top. Perfect. And to get that to fit right on, I'm just going to take a little spacing out between the words. And now it's perfect. Okay, simple. Once you have all your margins in and all the information, it's actually pretty simple to plot things in and keep it all aligned. Now we just have to do the inside.